Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you need IT consulting, go to williehowe.com, click Hire Us or the Contact Us button. Fill that information out and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. What we're looking at now is one of these things. I keep having a lot of these things that I don't know if there are other creators making videos about these, but sometimes that's what I see and then I get a lot of questions. But I've been getting a lot of questions about switches and layer 3 switches or layer 2 switches and what do I need, right? So real quick, I just want to break this down. I'm going to use these two switches that you see here on my screen. So this one is the Ingenious ECS 2512, which I have. They sent me. And but we're not getting into the actual switch in this video. And then we're going to look at this TP-Link T3700G-28TQ. So what is layer 3? So layer 3 is where your routing happens, right? So when you hear somebody say layer 3 switch, what does that mean? Well, that means the switch can actually do routing instead of also just switching. So it can route between IP networks. Well, then sometimes you'll hear layer 3 Lite, or you'll hear in the case of this Ingenious switch and some other TP-Link switches, Netgear switches, and things like that, you'll see layer 2 plus, right? So what is that? Well, when we're talking about layer 3, it is usually more than just static routing. So you can see with this TP-Link switch, they say that there are abundant layer 3 routing protocols, including RIP, OSPF, ECMP, VRRP, that supports a scalable network. There are other routing protocols as well, such as BGP, IBGP. You're looking at a much bigger switch than this that's going to do probably BGP. But RIP and OSPF, they make a darn fine, well, not so much RIP anymore, but OSPF, does great inside of networks for dynamic routing. So what is a routing, dynamic routing protocol do? Well, instead of us having to do static routes for everything, you can add networks and change routes to networks on the fly without having to touch equipment. All the routing tables will update. Whereas with static routing, and there's nothing wrong with static routing because there are large networks that run static routing, and you can do you can kind of like emulate some dynamic things using different costs on your path and things like that. If you want to see a video about that, let me know. It's one of the things that I really, really like to do. In fact, this last weekend, I just set up somebody with failover, and we're just using unequal cost paths instead of trying to get all fancy inside of the router, right? And it works great. And so anyway, so layer 3, your full layer 3 is going to support dynamic routing protocols as well as static routing. Now your layer 3 Lite, in my opinion, is pretty much layer 2 plus. Well, what does that mean? It means it can do routing, but it can only do static routing. So if you take a look at this ECS 2512, if we pull up the data sheet for it, you can see that it can do 63 static routes. So you can point clients to this as their default gateway, and it can store in its routing table 63 static routes. It gets no dynamic routing protocol support. So that is your layer 2 plus or your layer 3 Lite. I kind of lump those in together. I'm sure someone in the comments will have some commentary about layer 3 Lite. But if you've got any questions, you should know what this is if you're going to buy these switches for these purposes, for routing purposes. And just know that these switches do not provide NAT or firewalling. They can do ACLs, which can get a lot more complicated than firewall rules, but they're not meant to have a bunch of clients behind them and doing NAT and things like that. But if you got any questions about this, let me know down in the comments. More than happy to answer that. And I hope you learned a little bit of something about that here. Like I said, any comments, let me know down below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Those links are down below. All of our clearly marked affiliate links are down below, along with that Hire Us button if you need IT consulting. Once again, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.